how to replace a freeway motorised valve for central heating. My name's Alan Hart, and today's video has been sent in. So this is a plumber's video. It's been sent in and it's to try and help the new guys coming into the industry and just show you how to do certain jobs. So if you've got any videos, then please send them in. If you can, try and send them in as landscape. I've also got my Santa t-shirt on today. This is on our group on Facebook. Shane asked if I were going to do a Christmas video. This is as Christmassy as it's going to get today, I'm afraid. Happy Christmas to everybody. So in this video, what's going to happen, I'll show you the video from start to finish, and I'll show you how this plumber does this job. And then afterwards, I'm just going to go through some of the job and give you some tips and tricks. There's some good stuff in this video, and there's something in this video that I've actually learned from as well, but I'll tell you about that after. So without further ado, let's bob into this video.
Customer's issue was she's got no demand on the programmer for the hot water. So basically the hot water is in the off position, as you can see, and this customer is basically still getting hot water coming out the tap end. Now I've just noticed the immersion is plugged in, but what I've done is I've tested the immersion for power, and like most immersion heaters, this one doesn't actually work, so I know it can't be that. So then what I've done is I've basically come to the 3-port valve, put my hand on the B side, B for bath, as Alan says. So that's our hot water side, and I can feel that pipe is absolutely roasting up. So what's happened is it's a 3-port, essentially, is letting by. It's not working as it should, even though the pin is nice and loose. It's not the actual head. The actual head itself is knackered. So I don't carry these heads. I don't have them. Synchron motor, sorry, whatever you want to call it, head. I don't actually have these. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be changing out that for one of those. 3-port, Honeywell 3-port, as you can see there, and yeah, I'm going to start by bunging the tank out in the loft. So I'll be back with you in a second. I'll show you how I do that. Right, so up in the loft, whenever you're working on the airing cupboard, yeah, whenever you're working in an airing cupboard, whether it's a pump, a 2 or a 3-port valve that you're changing over, it's always going to be this tank that you're looking for. Alright, so the smaller tank out of the 2. Okay, now one thing I should mention is 4 or 5 months ago I didn't know how to do any of this. Okay, so this is for all these new gas engineers out there that get the gas qualification, and then when they get out into the real world they sort of start realising not everyone's got a combi boiler, and there's a lot more to heating and plumbing than just a combi boiler. So yeah, so basically what you're doing is, if you haven't got one of these, by the way, you need to get these. This is Regan call them the rad valve chain kit. Most plumbers call them a bung kit, from what I can understand. So essentially torpedo shaped. What you're going to do is you're going to push this into the outlet of the F&E tank for the heating system. So just down there, you see that's the outlet there, and all I've done is, you can't see it because it's so dirty, but essentially I've pushed it in there, and then all you're going to do is you're going to get the other one and you're going to bang that on the vent pipe. I need both hands for this vent pipe. Now if you ever lose one of your bungs or whatever, then 22mm push fit stop end on that one, and then bung the other one. Alright, so yeah, always bung that vent pipe, and then basically what we're doing there is we're going to create a vacuum in the system, and that will give us time to change over our 3-port valve, which I'll show you shortly. Right, so 9 times out of 10 when you get to these sort of jobs, the heating's always going to be on. So before you start doing anything, get to your programmer, turn your heating off, turn your turn your hot water off and isolate the electrics, which actually isn't in this cupboard, so it must be done by the boiler. So I'm just going to go and do that. Boom, happy days. All right, I'll still stick my glow stick or my magic pen or whatever on the electrics as well before I go cutting into anything. But yeah, this is a nice little trick that I like doing. Call that the bag trick from RS Gas Solutions. Give them a little follow. He's another very good engineer. Yeah, bag trick. So gonna undo this. I've got my wet vacuum already. Get this undone. Get that one pasted up. Not going to snatch it really. One thing I will say when doing this is because we've bunged the tank, just be careful how much water comes out. If you're getting a lot, then you know something's probably not right somewhere. So how much water are we getting out of that? Don't just go unwinding it the whole way. Just go gentle with it. Just sort of. I mean, obviously, like I say, I've only been doing this 4 or 5 months, and I've already got an understanding for how much water I should be seeing and I shouldn't be seeing, and a lot of that is thanks to the amount of jobs that I cover. But yeah, if you've got loads of water coming out, quickly tighten that back up. Get back up in that loft and find out what's going on, because you know if it starts peeing out water, then you know you've probably done something wrong. I'll reuse this nut and olive, and I'll reuse that nut and olive because I know they're compatible with this. But yeah, I'm going to need both my hands for a little while, so I'll be back with you in a minute. Obviously, you don't need to see how I paste up and things like that. Most of you will know how to do all of that already. But yeah, hopefully this video has been some use to you. Sorry I didn't show you too much about the fault finding on the actual head itself, but I'll be completely honest with you, it's the first time I've seen the fault myself. Yeah, I actually had to speak to my senior engineer to find out what the issue was. But yeah, like I say, we know that it's the 3-port valve, mainly because the hot water side of the valve is getting hot when there's no demand on. So that's why we know that this is letting by. Essentially, the central heating water is heating the hot water, and that's why the customer's got constant hot water. Which, you know, doesn't sound like a problem, but you know, it is a problem. She doesn't want to always have hot water. She wants to know when her hot water's off, it's off. So that's fair enough. I'll check back in with you once I've done an idea of how much water you should be getting out. That's nothing. Once that tank's bunged, like I say, it should be hardly anything. That's the bin liner there. And yeah, there's hardly any in that. Always have your wet vac at the ready just in case something goes wrong. I know I haven't got a dust sheet down today, but that's because it got left on the job last night. Just purely because I'm working a bit too much, too many hours at the moment, as are most of us. But yeah, like I say, that's how much you should be getting. I'm going to wire this in using a Regan 5-pin plug. This means you don't have to open up the actual wiring centre. Gets the job done a bit quicker. Some people might think it's lazy, but it's a really good way of doing it. Saves you a lot of time. So yeah, that's everything from me. Hopefully you guys have learned something from this video. Hopefully it helps at least one person. And if it doesn't, then you know, it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, like I say, this video is really just for heating engineers like myself that have done these courses, whether it's whoever it's through, but have done these courses, these gas courses, and they get out to the real world and realise, you know, there's a lot more to it than just a combi boiler or just a boiler. You know, you've got whole heating systems that you have to work on, S and Y plan, and so on and so forth. So yeah, like I say, hopefully this helps someone out there. Hopefully you'll see me again on this channel. If you don't, it's not because I've stopped plumbing, it's just because my videos aren't good enough. Alright, thanks a lot guys, see you later.
Thank you very much for that. If you've got any questions about this video, please ask them below. Also, please like and share if possible. If you are going to send any videos in, as I say, if possible, if you could send them in landscape, it just makes it better for the viewers to watch. Just a few things, as I said, just to point out on that bag, genius idea. I've never thought of that. I'd probably put, maybe if you could have like a little bucket, a little tub or something like that, and then get your bag round it. But as I say, I've never used a bag before, so genius idea that. Filter, I don't know if anybody's noticed, the keen-eyed people will have noticed that the filter was on the floor. Personally, I would advise, if possible, to put your filter on the return. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is the muck and sludge from the system is going back into the filter before it goes into the boiler. But the other fact is that's a slightly lower temperature than the floor. So if you imagine, if you've got your filter on your floor, it's the highest temperature. So that's just my point of view. Please add your comments below. Let me know what you think. The Regan rad valve, it looks like it's called a rad valve change kit. I've had mine for years from British Gas days. We just called them bungs. It's a bung tank up at loft. Very good, really good tool that saves you lots of time. Also saves you, if you're going to drain the system down, then you can have airlocks and things like that. So it can save you, well, it could save you 5 or 6 hours sometimes. So really good tip with them. Plugs, the plugs for the electricity, them 5-way plugs, I think they're brilliant, and I think that's a really good idea. Rather than going into wiring centre, personally, that's what I would do. I think that's a good idea. The other thing is, stay safe. Always do all your electrical checks. Make sure that you're testing it with whatever devices you've got to prove that there's no power. You need to stay safe. Obviously, this video is designed for new people into the industry, and you know, stay safe. Getting electric shock's not fun. I've had electric shock quite a few times, to be honest, over years. So, you know, now I try and stay safe. And I think that's it. And just a shout out to Service Plus as well, who is a service provider that repairs boilers, etc. But I think that's it for this video. As I say, if you've got any videos, if you'd like to send them in, if you'd like to help some of the new trainees, or sometimes people that's been doing the job a while and they haven't really got experience in any sort of breakdowns, the more videos and things like this we get, the better, really. And it helps me grow my channel. It means I can do more videos to help people, and it's just win-win, really. Merry Christmas to everybody. As always, thank you to everybody who helps and supports me and this channel, and all the people that watch this channel as well. Yeah, Merry Christmas.